Did you know Variety, the children's charity, is the entertainment charity started by a group of show business people who found an abandoned baby in a theatre way back in 1928. These kind-hearted performers raised so much money to help the lost child that they began helping other children, and Variety, the children's charity, was born. Read the full story and support the entertainers charity that supports kids in need today. Visit variety.org.au. You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Morry Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What's a bucket list?
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
What a year we've had at the School of Hard Knock Knocks. In this episode, Ben Horowitz and I talk about the year that was, the celebrity guest comedians who taught our stand-up comedy courses across Australia, the personalities that emerged from our comedy graduates, as well as the upcoming opportunities for our best graduates to perform in the Melbourne International Comedy Festival this April 2018. And, as is the new tradition, you'll hear a short snippet of stand-up comedy at the beginning of this interview, which happens to be from my mate, business partner and the co-founder of the School of Hard Knock Knocks, Mr. Ben Horowitz. Now here he is.
I was in a place called Key West in Florida. It's called the Florida Keys, and yet it's basically like the Whitsundays drawn by a massive road. So like, sort of like going from Greensboro to Frankston, yeah. And, beautiful road, and you go from one to the next. And I was in Key West. Now, if you've been overseas and you've ever heard another Australian talk, how bad do we sound? Wow, how's it going, mate? And that was the first noise, and I say noise, that was the first noise I heard. I was in Key West, and I was at the bar, just having a beer, and I saw a figure walk up, the barman was walking across, can I help you? And he says, hey, yeah, and I spun around and I said, mate, that's your Christ, my name's Ben, I live in Bentley. He said, what a coincidence. He didn't. He said, I said, Ben, I live in Bentley. If you know it, it's in Victoria. He goes, mate, I love Bentley. I'm from Frankston. I said, mate, this is fantastic. I'm going to be telling this story on stage. Just as it is, as it's happening, yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm getting comedy thrown at me. I'm not even trying. It's being thrown at me. I said, you're going to have to prove it to me that you're from Frankston. I can see a wallet in your pocket. Show me the wallet. Prove you're from Frankston. And this is what he did to prove you're from Frankston. He showed me the wallet. And it was mine. She has the phones. Come on with the phones. It's mad. I go in the opera shop. I said I want to buy the Samsung. I think it was a 5 or 6. What do I have to? I said it's you get unlimited calls, unlimited texts, bunch of data, and I think it was $50 a month or something, 60 a month. He said, what colour do you want? I said, what colour what? He said, what colour phone? I said, oh, you can get a different colour phone. He goes, oh yeah, black, white, blue or gold. I said, you get a gold phone? He goes, oh yeah, he pulls his phone out. He says, look at that. I said, is that your phone? He goes, yeah. I said, man, that is so gay. I'm glad you guys laugh, so did everyone else in the shop except for this poor prick. So I'm not homophobic. I've got a gold phone. Now what I need you to do, I need you to get really excited because we've got our first of the students tonight. Please make welcome Tim McIntyre!
Ben, g'day, how you doing?
Oh, mate, I'm a delight to be around. How you going?
Always a pleasure to talk to Ben Horowitz, business partner, comedian extraordinaire, and talk about the year that was, 2017, at the School of Hard Knock Knocks.
Yes, it was a huge year. I have reflected on it a bunch of times, thinking about the new friends I've made that just wanted to come along and learn a bit of comedy and enhance their comedy or were budding comedy, so we're just kicking a bucket. And, shouldn't say kicking a bucket. What's the...
Ticking buckets.
Ticking buckets, yeah. Not kicking. We don't want...
Oh, there's a couple of oldies in the group. So, if you're listening to this podcast, 67 is probably a normal comedian at the School of Hard Knock Knocks. So,
so we had a guy in the 70s last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Actually, we did. Yeah. So, but the average, I think I was thinking about looking at the numbers. I think on average we're about 35 to 45-year-olds. So, in the comedy game, it's a bit later than say your 18, 19-year-olds who are starting out at, say, Raw Comedy or Class Clowns. But yeah.
At any rate, aside for your levity at death and the potential that some of our older folk are going to kick it before this podcast comes out, I did actually mean ticking a bucket, not kicking a bucket.
Yeah, bucket tickers, the bucket list tickers before they kick the bucket. All right, we're confusing ourselves. Well, let's talk about the year that was, Ben, because Ben Horowitz wasn't the only famous name that we had at the School of Hard Knock Knocks. We had quite a few biggies. Yeah,
I'd actually say I probably run down the bottom of the list as far as famous people go. We had Dave O'Neill, Richard Stubbs, Steve Hughes, probably easily in the top 5 best Australian comedians of all time right there.
Chris Franklin, yeah. Jeff Green and Glenn Nicholas.
Fantastic Glenn Nicholas.
And Mayumi Nabetsu, as she refers to herself, as the biggest minority in comedy, being a woman in Japanese and living in Chinatown, but that's her joke. Doug Chappell as well, where Doug Chappell did our Geelong course.
Doug and Dane Simpson up in New South Wales when we went there.
Perfect. And of course, we cannot ignore or forget our good mate, Dave Ivkovic. So
definitely.
Yeah, so big names. And I got a lot out of it watching them hearing them and watching them tell their stories and seeing the massive improvement that we saw in the students as well. Actually, on the note of Dane, so Dane Simpson, he was our resident teacher up in Wagga Wagga, and what that means is it's a person like yourself, Ben, who spends the full 5 days with the newbie comedians and make sure that they progress and graduate on that last day, the Thursday. You went up there as actually the middle bracket with Chris Franklin. And you arrived you went up on Wednesday, didn't you, the day before the graduation?
Yeah, I filled in for Dane on the Wednesday. He couldn't be there, so Chris Franklin helped out. He was great. We shared the car right up there, and he did actually get a word in. It wasn't only me talking for the 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did speak at one stage. I can't remember what he said. I was talking.
Oh, it's probably shut the F up, mate. That's probably what he said. But
he did actually want to put me in the booth, but... luckily, I talked my way out of that as well.
There we go. Look, I think he's got a history that wouldn't be surprising. So again, you went up there with Chris Franklin and yourself, and actually one of our alumni, Gavin
Ingham, and he spoke terrifically on the Wednesday night, just from his own personal experience of doing the comedy school himself, and then he's only done a few gigs. And I guess with he's dropped in on a lot of the classes post his gig. And ended up doing a 15-minute spot, and considering he's only done about maybe 5 or 6 actual gigs, he was a superstar on the night. It was great to see.
It was very good.
Yeah, and I suppose having the input that all the comics get to see from the different big names who have travelled the world and telling their stories and the different angles of the way they see comedy. And,
a lot of them have travelled the world. They've been all over, Just for Laughs or the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah, Chris Franklin.
And, of course, Melbourne and Perth and Adelaide.
Chris Franklin, who hasn't done Just for Laughs, has performed comedy in over 20 countries.
Wow.
And wouldn't have been to those countries if it wasn't for just going and making people laugh and then getting another gig somewhere else. Just, you're funny, yeah, tell us some funny stories. We'll pay you lots of money, and then we'll put you on a plane and take you somewhere else. And that's the life you live. That's the ultimate goal. Getting to tell people a whole room full of people your stories and make them laugh. You get drunk with them afterwards.
Yeah. Well, he's former Navy, so he used to travel the world and point guns at them, and now he points the mic, makes them laugh. Much better way of life, isn't it?
I'm sure he enjoys one more.
Yeah, we talked about Gavin Ingham as sort of someone who's improved massively over the last, since doing the course. I think he did the course in June from my memory, and he came along as all of our alumni are able to do. They're actually able to come back every month and meet the new guest comedians. So I think we had Jeff Green and Chris Franklin in the June event, the June course, and then the following month I think we had Dave O'Neill was July, and so they were all invited back to meet Dave O'Neill, and then subsequently the other comedians that we had.
Dave spoke. He spoke brilliantly on the. I think he came on the Tuesday night and gave so many pointers. Just a real insight of what an Australian famous comic can deal with, and he was brilliant. He was stunningly brilliant. And then for that matter, I mean, Gavin came up to Wagga Wagga with us for Dane's set. But we had earlier the road show. Who was that? There was Denver Christian,
Lee Tom,
and
Jared Gowdry.
And Jared Gowdry, came on the first road show tour with us. And there'll be lots more of those. Assuming that agent guy of ours named Morry Morgan gets us lots more of those. Thoughts there?
Well, I think your agent, Morry Morgan, as we talk about me in third person, has bigger fish to fry, because what's coming up? The Melbourne International Comedy Festival 2018. So the beginning of April, I think the first show we have is on the 5th of April, and the last show is on the 15th of April, 12 shows in between. And it is the best of the School of Hard Knock Knocks, which is the alumni that have gone through either your program here in Melbourne, or Wagga Wagga, or even Geelong, where we had Dave Ivkovich, who was the resident comedian, with Doug Chappell as the guest comedian there as well. So
quite happily I can say I did all three of those gigs, or not three, all of the South Yarra ones, but went to Wagga Wagga, went to Geelong, met everybody, everywhere, and what a bunch of fantastic people, as you do get to meet in the comedy industry.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Well, that's probably a good segue to ask what went well in the year that was 2017 for the School of Hard Knock Knocks. What do you think was good?
Well, the one thing that really stood out in my mind that I really did enjoy is all the alumni that have come through. Like, everyone wants to come back. Everyone wants to be part of it. We're in a large chat. There's over 50 people in it, and everyone's commenting and talking. And we're meeting next week at the Botanical Gardens just for something to do. Well, some of them want to run through their going in raw, and they want to run through their raw set. I have no ambition to go in raw. I'm far past it, but I want to see them. And why would I want to see them? They're the new comics. Because they're such nice people. We all get along so great. And it's all hugs and kisses, and everybody's happy to see each other. And it's such a bonding. And it really is a great thing to be part of. And it blows me away. At the end of 2016, it was a business. Maybe we could make it, maybe we couldn't. We had a few people come through to 2017, but 2017 it's just really taken off, and so many people are patting each other on the back, helping each other up.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, the alumni this year, I think, has been close to 60, and very, very close-knit. I think they're communicating and chatting away on the Facebook groups daily, if not hourly. So
encouraging to see everybody's just really helping each other. Somebody will say, I'm going to do an open mic on Thursday, who else can come? And there'll be 5 people in the group. Suddenly there's 6 of them going on to the open mic.
Yeah. It's amazing.
These people never knew each other. They didn't know each other before the classes. Some of them haven't even met each other, but they want to meet each other because of the classes.
Yep. That's right. Well, you kind of skipped over it really, really quickly just a minute ago. You talked about raw comedy. They're meeting at the Botanic Gardens to practice their raw set. So that's another thing. I think 7 to 10 of our graduates are actually have enrolled. They've got a heat already for Raw Comedy 2018. So there's a very good chance that one of our alumni might make it to a semi-final or maybe even a state final. Fingers crossed. Maybe even a grand final. Who knows? But that's exciting. So that's what worked. What about what didn't work? What are we going to do differently in 2018 to make sure that we improve and get better?
I hadn't thought of that far yet. You got me there. I'm actually stumbled. Where can we improve?
Oh, well, thanks.
That's
a good sign. That's a very good sign. Well, I think we've had ups and downs in terms of audience numbers. I mean, we've ranged. I think the audiences. I mean, still pretty impressive, but sort of 50 has been sort of our low end in Melbourne, and up to 120 people in Melbourne as well. So I think I've got to figure out ways that we can ensure that we get a sold-out audience of 120 people for these graduates' first ever 5-minute performance. Because what an emotional rush that is, an adrenaline rush. When you've got 120 people, well, you've got a bright light on you, so you can't see them, but you can feel the energy beyond that white light that isn't Jesus Christ, but it's actually 120 people laughing at your jokes. So that's my things to do better in 2018.
Well, I suppose the one thing that I can see is we've now got such a supporter base, if you want, from the alumni, the students that have done the class. We've now got some of those people coming back to do the middle bracket, which is a 10 to 15-minute spot. We're paying them. We're going to really try to support them to go to the next stage, learn what it feels, or get what it feels like to be paid just to be funny,
yeah,
to be yourself.
Well, that's almost what worked well. Well, I guess that's a kind of a what might work well. We'll see how it goes. But you're right, yeah. So for 2018, the first show is January 21 to 25. We've got CJ Fortuna, who's our headliner. Of course, you'll be there. And our middle bracket is Stevie Sticks.
Stevie,
she's fantastic. She has gone from...
Yeah.
I saw her early days, and she was doing a lot of open mics in Geelong and right down the Surf Coast, right through to Warrnambool and Port Fairy even. And some of the material that she had was good, but then she refined it after doing the course with Dave Ivkovich and Doug Chappell in Geelong, which you were there, of course, as well as the middle bracket. And I saw some massive improvements in the delivery. The joke structure was all there, but just that delivery was spot on.
Yeah, well, she spoke very highly of the cast. When she did the School of Hard Knocks in, I believe it was October, she'd already done close to 60 gigs. And
yep.
She couldn't have spoken holier. I'll just make up words, I don't care.
Yeah.
Holier of the class.
Maybe.
And, yeah, exactly. Holier than the class is nothing.
Yes. This is how a cult starts, you know that, right?
She spoke very highly of the class. And
yeah, that's true, yeah.
She's now going to be part of hopefully part of the SHKK School of Hard Knocks for the people listening, that go through to who knows how far in Raw of 2018.
Absolutely. And talking about people who've done quite a few open mics, I guess this is kind of reaching out to those who listen to this podcast who think, I've already been doing open mics for a year or 2 years. We've got Jared Goundry, who I think has done certainly over a year of open mics, maybe even close to 2 years, and he did the course as well. And he will be our middle bracket in February. So he'll be there with Elliot Goblet, a.k.a. Jack Levi, who will be our headliner and our guest comedian, teaching people how to be incredibly bland but hilarious, I should add.
Well, we had Tim McIntyre come down from Sydney, who'd already done over 200 gigs. And,
we did.
He absolutely shone in our class, of course, because he had that experience. But
he did.
He actually said it. It feels like he's ready to go to the next level. And since then, he's gone to the next level. He performed in LA recently, which is unbelievable.
He has. That's right. And he was even on a podcast just last week, I heard, on a Women in Comedy podcast. I think it's called Women in Comedy. And he was being interviewed. Weirdly, he was being interviewed. But, that's good. It's diversity, kind of a weird opposite way. And he was, he's big in Sydney now that he's appealing to both genders. Amazing.
Sorry. Hang on. Hey, I got to pull you up. You said both genders. I think you mean all 18. But anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that is correct. Ben's always been the straight and narrow guy in this relationship and always made sure that we dot the I's and cross the Q's. Excellent.
Don't want to go ruling anybody out now.
That's true. And on that note, we have a fantastic, diverse group of people that have done the course. Everyone in that LBTQI.
We really have. We've had... aside from the different genders, and there actually has been quite a few doing the class, there's also the age group. I mean, we've gone from 17 to I can't remember how old the oldest guy. He was in the 70s.
Yeah, 70
Yeah.
something. Mm.
Both male and female. Doesn't matter where you are, where you're from. If you think you've got a funny idea, time to prove it.
Yep. And also ethnicities as well. We had people where we had Taiwanese, we had Vietnamese, ethnic Vietnamese, we had Lebanese, we had Indian. Italians. Martino. We had Italians, we had Scottish, English.
Just for the record, Michael Tucker's a Scottish guy, and in case he's listening, mate, we still have no idea what you said. But,
oh, it's a great accent though, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's been great. A real diverse group of people, which has been hilarious. Which I think the two of us, you and I, Ben, I think we're probably pretty diverse. If you know the two of us, you know that we're chalk and cheese, and I think I'm the cheese. But
yeah, I'm very
Gouda.
Very straight up. I wear a suit, and no, wait, that's you. That's you. I forgot.
Yeah, that's you. Oh, you go to court sometimes. All right. Well, Ben, was there anything else you wanted to add in our podcast today?
I look forward to meeting everybody in 2018. In 2016, I would shudder because we get you to do your 2 or 3 minutes that you've thought of. It's your own thoughts. Let's bring out you. Let's bring out the best of you. And in 2016, I'll be like, here we go again. Here we go. Try to make these unfunny people funny. And 2017 changed me. Because now I look forward to hearing what people have got to say. Because it was such a turnaround. 2017 was such a big year. We had so many people that sometimes there were some students. I said at the end of their very first time on the microphone, 2 or 3 minutes on the Sunday night when they broke it in and they come in and I said, "Why are you here? You're the funniest person I've ever met. You don't need to be here." I should say one of the funniest people I've ever met. You don't. Of course, they get something because there is no 2 plus 2. Doesn't matter what comedian tells you who they are. There's no 2 plus 2 equals 4 in comedy. 2 plus 2 equals 17. There's a way to do everything, and there's also not a way to do the exact same thing. And that's the one thing I look forward to about 2018 is looking forward to all the different characters I'm going to meet because I can't believe of the 60 students we had run through this year, the diversity, and what you didn't think there was something funny at. People would find, doesn't matter what, you pick a subject, and then somebody would find a way to make it funny. There's somebody out there. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I get to meet people, we have a drink, and we enjoy it, and we have a laugh. Beautiful. Greatest thing I've ever been a part of.
Good. Well, so far so good. 2 years in, going into our 3rd year, 2018. Ben Horowitz, a pleasure, always. And thank you for being number 40 in this list of interviews for the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast. You are lucky number 40. Cheers, mate. Well, have a good one, and we will catch up in a couple of weeks' time. Getting ready for January 21 to 25 in South Yarra. There is only 3 tickets left, 3 spots left, and happy hour. Early bird finishes on the 5th of January, so we'll get this podcast out well before the 5th. If you're listening to this and you want to learn stand-up comedy or improve your stand-up comedy, or if you actually want to perform at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, there's actually some opportunities for people who graduate in January to perform in our April MICF show. So
I shouldn't be talking over the part where you're trying to plug the MICF, but let's face it, we've got that sewn up anyway. But what I will say is, for the people who just want to be social and hang out with people who are like-minded and funny, what a great group of, what a great way to start. It almost, from what I've seen with the group, we could almost put a dating agency at the top of the, no, maybe leave that out.
Yeah, they're very funny. I can't say they're very attractive, but very funny people.
No, but they're right. They'll get along with each other.
Yeah, that's true. If the lights are off, yeah. Cheers, Ben.